What is going on, guys? Welcome to Greggles TV Daily, your source for daily tech news. Make sure you subscribe so you know what's going on in the world of tech. Hope everyone is having a fantastic day, but let's get into the news. The first and only story of the day is about the iPhone X, also the iPhone X, whatever you want to call it. Well, it looks like the Chinese Ministry of Information and Technology, also known as TENA, T-E-N-A-A, has released findings on the new iPhone X's battery and RAM amounts. Let's talk about the battery first. It looks like the milliamps that it's rated for is 2,715 milliamps, which is quite small for a flagship phone, especially when you compare it to other Android phones. Now, a phone that it's size comparison wise that is really close to is the Galaxy S8. That has a 3,000 milliamp battery. Now, Apple is known to really have small batteries versus the rest of the industry, and it really doesn't make that big a deal, especially in terms of actual usage time. Apple iPhones, especially the 8 and the 8 Plus, have outstanding standby time from what I've been hearing from other people that have this phone, and overall just has general good usage battery. So I would not be concerned with this at all. If you're a person that's looking to get that new iPhone X and you notice it has a smaller battery versus some other phones, especially on the Android side, I would not be concerned. Apple obviously runs a different operating system and has optimizations that sometimes out of this world in terms of performance benchmarks. It's killing anything on Android. I wish I could say it was the opposite way, but it's really killing the Snapdragon 835 right now. And also just overall battery life, you generally get either equal battery life to what you could get on an Android phone or even better sometimes. So don't be that concerned with it having a smaller battery. The other big thing is the RAM amount. You're looking at 3 gigabytes on the new iPhone X versus standard right now on a flagship phone on Android is 4 gigabytes, and it's pushing its way up to 6 gigabytes like the Galaxy Note 8 has. Sometimes you'll even see 8 gigabytes of RAM, which the OnePlus 5 has. So it kind of gets crazy amounts of RAM sometimes on Android. Some phones need it, sometimes some phones don't. With the Galaxy Note 8, I really feel like it needed that 6 gigabytes of RAM now because that phone is polished to a T. It feels really good. I haven't had any lag on my Galaxy Note 8, but with an iPhone where the operating system sometimes I feel is not as complicated, you can't do as much on it versus what you can with an Android phone. The iPhone X is fine with 3 gigabytes of RAM. It might not be able to keep a lot of apps in its memory over the course of, like, if you open up 10, 15, 20 apps, it might lose some of those apps, so you have to reload them. But in terms of performance, it's gonna be fluid, at least for the next couple of years, like most iPhones are. Sometimes when you get an update on the iPhone, initially, I've read some reports that iOS 11 has been making some apps lag and some phones lag in the OS with like iPhones, I believe 6 and 7. But again, usually they push an update out and it fixes those things. So again, not too much to worry about in terms of the battery size and the RAM amount for the new iPhone 8. Does it not look as sexy as an Android phone? Definitely. But does it really matter when you're running iOS, which is a slimmed down version of an OS? Still has a lot of features, but not as many as an Android. It really doesn't matter probably in the grand scheme of things. So guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. New videos every single day. My question of the day is, what would you imagine that on an Android phone if it had a 2,700 milliamp battery and 3 gigabytes of RAM? That phone would probably cost about $200, maybe $300, definitely for sure. What do you think about that RAM amount? Is it laughable? Is it something that you agree with me where you think, hey, it doesn't matter with an iPhone, it just works? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you down the road. Peace.